if you want to bring about harmony, you don't try to rub them in. That's always there. That's how it should be between two countries. And for me, I had said once to General Musharraf also, for me, when he said, you are now no longer in the government, Manmohan Singh is the Prime Minister, when he came in 2005, he said, is your approach to Pakistan the same as it was when you were in government with Vajpayee? I said, exactly the same. And I then mentioned to him that in 1989 or 90, Sir Barrington came to see me. He was then the British High Commissioner in Islamabad. And he said that I am convinced that India and Pakistan relations will normalize or move towards normalcy only when your government comes to power.
Why do you think he said that?
He said, and he gave examples of Nixon and China and of the Middle East, how governments and leaders who are identified with being anti-certain position, if they come to power, their capacity to change the situation and bring about harmony is much greater than others.
So you think that by having the impression which the BJP has in Pakistan and maybe elsewhere as well, it's actually better placed to bring about change? Is that what you're saying?
No, not better placed. Because changes would need a measure of give and take, always. And if the Congress tries to do it, it may be accused of selling out the interests of the country. I believe that the BJP can contribute most towards Indo-Pak friendship than any other party.
But sir, with all due respect, there is this impression, perhaps not even in Pakistan, but outside of Pakistan as well, that when it comes to Pakistan, there is a paradox. With the Lahore summit, with the Agra summit, there's been a shaky relationship when it comes to, there's been good things and bad things when it comes to BJP-Pakistan relations. But then there's the Harrington argument, as you just put it. But then the question really is that if the BJP is well placed, if it has this impression, if it has this stand against Pakistan or for Pakistan, whichever way you want to make it look like, there's also this communal impression in Pakistan that the BJP is communal. How does BJP shed that impression once and for all for the peace process?
Why should we shed that impression? We are what we are.
Don't you think it's important?
You call it communal, but
There
don't you think that in India, a theocratic state is bound to be viewed as communal? If only the concept of secularism as we propound it, or as Jinnah propounded it in his 11th August speech, that hereafter let Hindus go to their temples, let Muslims go to their mosques, and in the eyes of the state, they shall be equal citizens. Now, this is the concept. If Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan were to adopt, the possibility of their coming closer would certainly increase.
Does Pakistan's Islamist state bother the BJP?
A theocratic state does bother us. A theocratic state is something, therefore it is that I said, if only the concept of Jinnah as propounded in the 11th August speech is implemented properly.
But Pakistan as it is today is perhaps not very close to the 11th August speech. So Pakistan is an Islamic republic.
Yes, it is not.
And that makes the BJP uncomfortable.
It does.
So just a short break. We have to take a short break here. You're watching TalkBack's Eye on India with Advani. Stay tuned. Welcome back to TalkBack. Advani is here with us. So considering that there's been a sea change in Pakistani politics now, let's stick to the subject of Pakistan. Considering there's been a sea change in Pakistani politics, and there's been a lot of two ways between India and Pakistan over the last years of this current administration. For example, General Musharraf's 4-point formula. Now, not much has happened as far as movement, as far as diplomacy is concerned. There's been a flurry of diplomacy, but perhaps not enough peace has been achieved when it comes to Kashmir. Sure, there's a ceasefire. Sure, there's decreased militancy. on this side of the border. But the bottom line is that there's this feeling in Pakistan that the Congress has showed intransigency, inflexibility. What would, if you are supposed to be the Prime Minister in waiting of India, you're supposed to be the next Prime Minister, what would you bring back to revive the peace process?
That the infrastructure for terrorism that is there in Pakistan would be dismantled. And on this, even the foreign countries have consistently pressed on Pakistan to dismantle that infrastructure. Unfortunately, this has not happened. And I would like that to happen. And I would like the dialogue to be really substantial, in which trade, commerce, culture, information, all these issues are tackled in a manner as to make the two countries come closer to each other. Jammu and Kashmir also should be sorted out, but it would take time.
So speaking of that, what's your bottom line on Kashmir?
My bottom line on Kashmir is that let other issues come first and
talk first, Kashmir later.
Kashmir later.
But in Pakistan, it's the
diametrically opposite. I know that. And then that will not solve issues. That will only
But sir, isn't that just that very view which has made the peace process stall?
Because
that Pakistan wants to do Kashmir first and talk later.
Peace process is not stalled because of that. Peace process has been stalled mainly because of cross-border terrorism. And cross-border terrorism, once we agreed on that, we at least agreed
but sir,
theoretically.
Even the Indian Army chief has admitted that militancy has decreased.
Yes, yes. It has decreased because of that joint statement. And it has decreased on the border there. But we have problems here in the country, so many.
All right. Now, speaking of Kashmir, you want to scrap Article 370, which gives special status to Kashmir. Yes. Why do you want to do that?
Because Jammu and Kashmir is part of India.
That's it.
That's it.
But sir, there's a pledge, for example, in 1952, Mr. Nehru made a pledge which made it sound like Kashmir would be given its right for self-determination, that there was no forceful entry or exit in India, that Kashmir would be given the chance to decide.
You would recall that that was on condition that the armies would be withdrawn and the tribals will go back. Not only army was not withdrawn, but a part of Jammu and Kashmir is under Pakistan occupation.
But today, sir, the Pakistani president gives a 4-point formula in which demilitarization is a part of the bargain. Do you agree with
demilitarization of your respective countries? Why should we demilitarize our own? Why should we demilitarize? Why? No. I have not gone into that 4-point formula at all. But I would think that negotiations, a composite dialogue on all issues, including Jammu and Kashmir, including the terrorist infrastructure, should continue.
Okay, let's move on to Kargil. Now, Kargil has come and gone. Talking about it has been done too much. But I just want to touch on one point. There's a school of thought, and this is a complete political strategy, so please bear with me, that it was the internal politics in India at that time, because the BJP had lost the vote of confidence by 1 vote on April 1st, that the BJP government was in trouble. That is why the war effectively took the shape it did. That if the BJP government was better placed, diplomacy would have been handled, because the ink wasn't even dry on the Lahore Declaration, that Mr. Vajpayee's government opted aggressively because there was an election looming.
Wajahat,
would you?
I'm amazed at this kind of school of thought.
Is this just stratagem?
It is no different from the comments we heard from General Musharraf himself after the Indian Airlines plane was hijacked, that it was the